people of YouTube. Thank you for stopping by. I mean, I'm worth your time, right? So thank you so much for stopping by and seeing this video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I got a job in the UK 2 weeks after getting in. And at the end of the video, I'm going to drop some interview questions. In fact, I'm going to drop some of the questions I was asked in all the interviews I went for. I dropped a video of my job interview and my JJC lifestyle, and also the job, in fact the work I do in a care home. And I've got questions like, do you have a health background? Did you do courses? I've got like some questions and I'm just like, okay, let me just answer it and just drop some tips. So the first thing you want to do when applying for any job is definitely to tailor your CV according to that job specification. I mean, you cannot be applying for a healthcare job and be using an engineering CV or a CV that exalts your engineering skills. You can't be using that CV. So basically, it's a different ball game from my country and the UK when applying for jobs. And to get a good format on how to write a good UK CV for healthcare job, I think you just go on YouTube. YouTube have loads. In fact, go on the internet in general. It has loads of CV formats you can use. That's the same thing I use. Get a format and remake your CV. Apply for as many jobs as possible. It doesn't take anything to apply. Apply for 100. Just they drop the CV, they go. They drop the CV, they go. These people will definitely contact you. Like almost all of them are going to contact you if you have a very good CV. So they're going to contact you. They're going to want to book an interview. Just ask. Some of them are going to call you and ask a few questions on the phone before inviting you to their home. So for those that asked if I had a health or if I have any health background, I'm a pure art student. I don't have any single background in health, but I applied and I got the job definitely because it doesn't need much. Most companies are going to train you before you start. You're going to do a what did they call that thing? They're going to train you though before you start. So I didn't have any healthcare background, and yes, I did some courses. I used the Allison. She's Allison. Yeah, I did this Allison course. It was quite easy, so I just went through it. It was good that I did the course because I learned from doing those courses. Apart from the fact that I needed the certificates to apply for a job, I learned from them. So yeah, I did few courses, but truth be told, nobody asked for any certificate. Like, I mean, the jobs I applied for, they didn't ask me for those certificates. I've even forgotten that I did courses self, because nobody asked for certificates of your care courses you did. Nobody asked me. I don't know if they definitely might ask other people, but I wasn't asked. In the different, it's not like it's just one company. I wasn't asked for any certificates. So in every application, you're definitely going to be asked for a reference. Please make sure you call the people that you're planning to put as your reference. Whether it's the character reference or the professional one, make sure you call them and tell them, oh, I want to use you as my reference, because those people are definitely going to be contacted by the home you applied to. They'll definitely be contacted either via email or through phone calls, and your reference checks can actually delay you getting your job. So please make sure your reference, not just you just put anybody there as far as to be they want to reference you, go and list all the lecturers. And no, call them, call whoever you're going to use or whoever you used, because during your application or during your interview, you'll be given a form to fill, and in every interview, those references or they ask for a reference. So please call your references and be sure that they are going to respond to their email when being contacted. When you're invited for an interview, please try to go as early as possible. I know I lost a job, like in my front, like I lost a job because I went late. I was an hour late because I missed road. I was still new and I didn't know how to navigate. I didn't know, the map was really confusing. So I went there very late. If despite the fact that I called them and told them I'll be running late because I don't know my way. But I just know that those people did not call me back because I missed road number one. In fact, that was the major thing. So when you're getting ready for any interview, every interview, it doesn't matter whether you're prepared, it doesn't matter whether you know it all, or whether you're so grounded in this job, there's definitely going to be this kind of pressure. You get one kind, your stomach will start to turn you start feeling, your stomach will start turning you start feeling so uncomfortable, you start feeling hot. There's this pressure that just comes in when you're going for an interview. Like, it's normal. It's normal. You know, but there's one thing I've noticed about the interviews I went for. Like I told you guys, I'm talking from my experience. They help you feel relaxed. These people, they don't put any form of pressure because they know you're already you're already in so much pressure. So they help you feel relaxed. The interview, you might be feeling, you go there, you see people that are wearing suits, you see. In fact, it just feels more like you're chatting with someone. Like, it doesn't feel, you won't feel any tense atmosphere between you and that person. You understand? So please just try to feel relaxed. Be prepared. By now, you definitely, before going to that company, you should have done some research. Every reasonable person should have. Do few researches, watch YouTube videos like this, and know what it feels like going for an interview, especially when you've not gone for one. So do that, and you should be like a bit prepared for it, but don't feel too tense. So here are some of the questions that you'll definitely be asked, or here are some of the questions, let me rephrase, that I was asked during my interviews. I'm not going to tell you every question, but I'm going to pick the ones that came up, that the recurring questions, the ones that came up in every interview I went for. So the first thing they're going to do is to verify, excuse me. The first thing they're going to do is to verify, they're going to verify the person they're speaking with. Like, I'm in front of someone, but I'm not so sure if the application I have in front of me is for the person sitting in front of me. So they're going to ask you, oh, what's your date of birth? What's your address? They hardly even, what's your name? What's your last name? They're going to ask to be sure that, okay, is this person, is the main person I'm interviewing. Another question that might come up, or that they asked me, is what are the qualities of a healthcare giver? They might put it in another way. What qualities do you have to fit into the healthcare role? They might just ask you in any way. Me, I said, first of all, I'm a compassionate person. I'm a caring person. I just said some kind of things, and they were like, yeah, that's good. How don't you think being reliable? I said, yes, that's true. I'm very reliable, being trustworthy. I said that, as I said, they're not going to make you feel pressured, even if you're not given the answer they want. They're just going to tell you something, just give you more insight to it. If you give them a wrong answer, they will tell you the right answer. It doesn't mean you failed your interview. So that I'm reliable, I'm a good communicator, because those skills, you really need those qualities as a healthcare assistant. So it's good you put in those ones too with every other one. No, don't go there and be doing oversabi. I know it's too much. Don't go there. Just calm down, calm your nerves. Don't be too good and don't be too bad. Just be cool, be calm. It's not the interview, basically they could have just done it over the phone, but most times I think it's to read your body language, to check your facial expressions when they ask you questions. I think those things are what they look after too in every interview. So don't go and do too much. So there's this question that they always see. If they don't ask you any question, they must ask you this one. So there's this question that they always ask me. And the question is, what will you do if your colleague is not handling the patient well? What will you do? So I always give an answer of, I'll try to, because when I went for these interviews, I didn't have any healthcare background. So I'm like, I'll talk to my colleague on how to handle them better. And, I'll talk to them severally. So that's basically what I gave. So the first interview I gave this answer, this was what the woman told me. The woman was like, oh yeah, that's good. but at the same time, you report it. So after this interview I went for and got that answer, I started answering, oh, I will talk to them and make sure I report, because everybody will tell you to report. Because see, working here as a healthcare assistant, the second thing you are employed for is reporting. If the client is so bad that the resident blink their eye, please report that the resident blink their eye. Maybe they don't used to blink their eye like that. Report it. It's really important. I have very little detail that you feel like, oh, it's not important. It's really important. So if your colleague must have dragged somebody had an hospital, please report. But me, I don't want to say I don't used to. Me, from where I come from, they to report like that. To like, we just, just actually when we know that this thing is not good, we might just talk to them and just say, guy, no do that kind of thing again, But here they want you to report it. So if anything happens to that client's arm, they know who to. They're going to hold you and the person that was in charge of that resident. So if you had reported it, they would have held just that person. Since you report, it's the both of you that are going in for it. So that's also, I think the interview questions here are more like practical questions. Like, they don't come and start asking you, give us 10 reasons why, 8 reasons. No, they basically ask you, okay, can you tell us a situation you've been in where you handle an aggressive person? Can you tell us a situation where you've been in where you handled, maybe, probably, okay, they went through my CV and they saw that, oh, I worked as a customer care representative. They would say, can you tell us, when you were working as a customer care representative, how did you solve an issue of a client that was not listening to him? And so I come up with story. Me too, I told them how I solved it. Come up with your own story too and tell them. So just say something reasonable, something realistic. But then they're going to, they'll always ask you, how do you handle an aggressive patient? How do you handle a patient who hits, who talks down on you? How do you handle it? I said, oh, I'll try to calm the patient down in every way I can. I'll try to calm them down. Now, because I work in a care home where if I'm handling a patient and they're being aggressive, I can't just leave them there and try to run to go and call my senior, because when I leave them, they might fall. These people, sometimes they have dementia, so they're not really understanding. So I'll try to calm them down. At the same time, I will try to check if there's anything that is going to harm them or harm me in the process. At the same time, I'm going to ask for help, because most times when we are handling our patients, we are always two. Do you understand? So I might be with the person and the other, my colleague is going to get the senior. So you always ask for help, because trust me, you cannot handle them on your own. So ask for help and record every single thing that happened that period. So that's just basically what I answered. I'll try to calm the person down, check for any, that's just it. Another thing is, when these people are asking you a question, you might not understand it. There's a person someone might ask you a question, you might know the answer, but because of the way they put the question, you might not even know what to think. So when you don't understand the question, don't be too fast, because you don't want these people to think that you're a dullard. You'll be too fast to give an answer. Don't be too fast. Calm down. You can tell them, please, can you repeat your question? Or you can say, please, can I get a clarification? I really don't understand it. And they might put it in another way, in a way for you to understand. When they're actually putting it in that way or trying to rephrase their question, by that time, you suppose don't they think of a possible answer to give. If you don't know it at the same time, trust me, they are not going to be looked at as a dullard. They might just tell you, oh, this is what it is. When you're in a situation like this is what you should do. They already know you don't have a background. Even if you have it, you might not know it all. So they're going to tell you this is what to do. And they will even tell you, oh, don't worry, during your training, you get more. Like, do you understand? Don't start feeling, I don't know, those kind of things. Just feel cool. Just be cool. Be cool. So I think that's basically it for the questions. They will ask you more. So you can watch other videos for more questions. Some people said, one interview I went for, they didn't ever ask me anything. Like, they just wanted to know about me, basically to know how I communicate, because That's one of the qualities too. But let me tell you one thing. I think after your interview, please try to check up on those people. You know, please, you can always call them and ask, oh, I came in for an interview at so day. I just want to know what's up with my application. And they will tell you, oh, we're actually waiting for your DBS check. We're actually waiting for your reference to reply our email. I remember this job I am working at currently. What took time for them to respond or to even get back to me was because of my reference. So my husband was like, call them, because we were waiting. We just did wait. Like, nobody is calling me. So he was like, call these people now to know what's taking time. So I called them and they were like, oh, we've sent your reference, the reference you put down, an email, and they are yet to respond. Please, could you call them and tell them to respond to the email? So once they told me that, I called the person I used as my reference, and when my reference replied, immediately, it didn't even take up to 2 hours, the house called me back. Oh, your references have gotten back to us. Can you pick your shift? That's how my job started. That's why I wasn't even prepared, but that was how I just started my job. So after I got that job, I started working. Before you know, other people started contacting the people I went to for an interview. The people, English is hard. But how do I put the people where I go? How do I put it in English? The people where I go to their own place for other interviews, they call me back. I don't know if you understand. But then other people that I went for their interview started calling me and was like, oh, are you in for today? Do you want to come in for your induction? But then, that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for staying till this time if you're still here with me. Thank you for watching. And you know what's up now. I don't want to start telling you, please subscribe, like. No. You should have subscribed if you liked it. If you liked the video, you should have liked. But support now. It's just a support. It doesn't take anything. Just click it. That's it. Thank you so much. And please don't forget, I always tell you guys, don't forget to ask your questions in the comment section. Ask your questions. Drop down your questions there.